Dr. Mary Ellen O'Toole, former FBI profiler, who joins us now on the phone. So Mary Ellen, based on what it is that we have learned about this shooter and the background that law enforcement sources have provided, what is it that we're able to tell, if anything, at this point?
Well, based on what they know so far, and it certainly does seem like it came up very early on about his possible ties to Islamic terrorism. So my sense is when that happens that they did have information about his background, and they were just attempting to confirm it or to obtain additional information, because typically the FBI does not come out with something like that so early on in the investigation. But aside from that, just his behavior itself, no matter what his motivations are, he came there prepared for what we call maximum lethality, to kill as many people as possible. And I say that because he had two weapons and what was possibly an explosive device. What is interesting is that there was a shift in the crime where he apparently began to either take or have hostages, which really isn't typical. But then I think the important point here is that this is someone who did not practice this before. These are not crimes that are where there's there's any practice. I mean, you go in once and you commit one of these crimes, and that's it. So the fact that it had a turn to it that we didn't anticipate could certainly be due to the fact that he had never done this before. He'd planned it, he thought about it, he put it together, but once involved in the shooting itself, events took place and it went from a shooting to a hostage situation back to a shooting. So that doesn't, to me, that just suggests somebody that got caught up and didn't plan it. You know, it didn't turn out the way he had thought it would.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, Mary Ellen. So you say that it is not typical in these kinds of mass shooter incidents for there to be hostages taken. What could that indicate about the way things unfolded there?
Well, it could indicate that once he ran back into the nightclub, and at that point, it's hard to you can't anticipate, you can't plan what the victims inside the club were doing or what they were attempting to do to the shooter. So my sense is it's some type of interaction that he had with the victims once he returned inside the club that caused him to change his course of action.